Today we'll be working on the new project, and that is this TF Rodeo. It's turbo diesel. So first mods we're going to do is this boost controller. I'm going to crank some boost into it, and this EGT and boost gauge so we know what the engine's doing. Once all that's installed, we can wind the fuel up and wind the boost up and see what it does. So I just need to get this fitting into the dump pipe. So I'm hoping I can pull that heat shield off, and there should be a cast dump pipe on the back, and I'll just drill and tap this straight into it. I will eventually later on put a new exhaust on it, but just for now, that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to use absolutely no CRC on these bolts and use this rattle gun, and let's see what happens. Worked. Alright, so we've got the heat shield out. Now I'm just hoping to be able to drill and tap into the back there. That'll be for our EGT gauge. So what I'm going to try to do is this bolt hole, that was actually for the heat shield. I might just put the drill straight through that and just tap that out and put our EGT probe through there. Alright, so we got our hole drilled. Now I'm just going to tap it out with this. Hopefully that threaded bung goes straight in. So EGT probe's now fitted in our dump. Pretty much just poke this wire through the firewall, which right through there. Nice hole, well at previous owner. So that's through there. Now we'll start working on the boost gauge side of things. I'm going to run the boost gauge and the boost T while I do them together. But just now what I'm doing is before the wastegate line used to run from there to there off the turbo, and then we had that boost reference, that little barb there, run to the compensator on the pump, which is where this hose goes to. So what I'm doing now is running that compensator line straight to the turbo, which is there, it's already hooked in, and I'm going to run the boost from there now to the wastegate down there. So what that's going to do is hopefully put fuel on earlier and boost on, we'll open the wastegate later basically, to get quicker spool and a bit more power down low. Alright, so I've now got all the boost gauge side of things done with the boost T as well. So as you can see, where the boost T's off, that runs to my compensator, this runs to the actual gauge, and then from where it comes out there, it runs to the boost T, which I can adjust, and that runs to the wastegate. So now it's just pretty much all the stuff inside, which will be from EGT gauge in there, boost gauge stuff there. We'll just have to hook up this now. So it's electrical side now, gauge, so I'm pretty much just got to rip this dash apart and find some wiring. So I've pulled the stereo out because that's where I'm going to be tapping in my wiring, and we'll pretty much hook up this gauge. So while we're doing mods to this Rodeo, I'm just going to cut out the muffler. So we're just going to straight pipe the standard exhaust for now and just make it louder. That's our straight pipe done on the Rodeo. So you can see the whole exhaust now has no mufflers in it. It's just standard size exhaust with no mufflers really. So now the Boost and EGT gauge has been fitted, the Boost T's been fitted. So let's pretty much take out the beach, see what it does. So we have the Boost and EGT gauge all wired up and we're just testing it out now on the beach. So you can see there, and lovely. Get just over 20 PSI out of the little standard turbo. Next mods will be intercooler, which I think I'll put it in and see how it goes from there. We'll probably crank more fuel into it after that. quick little video of install on Boost EGT gauge and just a straight through exhaust on the Rodeo. There is more to come with this car, as next will be front mount intercooler, which I do have. So that's just an install video for that, and just some other mods I might do to it was toying with the idea of a compound turbo setup.